の谷間の暗闇に
Irvingman.
キラリと光る光の目
Irvingman.
安らぎ
As we know, this show is somewhat formulaic. Spider-Man's mission is to defeat the Iron Cross Army, and they seem to be behind every terrible thing that happens to the people of Japan. Professor Monster likes his machine beams and thinks they're powerful weapons, and not one of them has been able to deal with Leopardon yet. You get the feeling the professor is a bit of a slow learner. And the way he's acting, he may not get many more chances to learn. Is he dying or what? At times he acts so weak he can't stand up. Then he has moments where he appears to be having a seizure. I don't believe in letting anything suffer, so if he's going to croak, I hope his problem will minimize his discomfort and get it over with.
Monster 教授、どうなさいましたモンスター教授。しっかりしてください。輸血はもうしました。
More blood. He explains that he's survived for 400 years because way back when he ingested enough live blood to sustain him. Well, his tank's down to fumes and he needs a lot more fresh blood if he intends to live another 400 years. Amazonas is on the job.
ドクロ怪人。すぐ人間の血がいる。それも多量にだ。400年生き続けてこられたモンスター教授を元気にさせるためには生きた人間の血が必要だ。早く血を手に入れてこい。
I wonder why they call him Skeleton Beast, and why he can travel by Irwin Allen's smokescreen.
暗い運命になけ父と子
Tears of a dark fate for a father and daughter. This is going to be another downer episode, isn't it? And I know that couple looked a lot like Takia and Hitami, but it isn't, don't worry. Skeleton Beast has a henchman they call the White-Robed Beast. He's a guy in a white robe and his head is an oversized skull. He's in charge of the actual operation. They have it down to a simple process. One or the other of them suddenly appears in front of the car runs off the road and crashes, a fake ambulance comes along and immediately gathers the people. The next day, their bodies are found on a beach, drained of their blood. Hitami is on the scene.
困りますね。
私はカメラマンなの。報道の自由でしょ。
おい、
拓也さん、邪魔しないで。
どうなんだよ。
吸血鬼が出たのよ。被害者の体の中の血がきれいに抜き取られて一滴もないそうよ。
え？
Takia is the master of the snappy comeback, isn't he? To be fair, he may need to go look up the word vampire. We don't know much about his education. Despite the authorities' best efforts, Hitami is taking pictures of the bodies for her paper. They won't come into play or have anything to do with the story, but we can all admire how willing she is to have some cops try to push her around so she can get the shot. Takia's instincts are telling him the Iron Cross Army is doing this, and nobody seems to be able to stop them or even find them. Suddenly, bodies are popping up all over the place, devoid of blood. Interpol can't tell Takia anything. They're as stumped as everybody else. It's gotten bad enough that he's telling Shinko and Takagi not to go for a simple drive. It's too dangerous. They'll go anyway and nothing will happen. To them. To the little girl in the car that just passed them, that's a bit different. Takia is out on his bike, wandering aimlessly, trying to figure out where the Iron Cross Army might be. The car with the little girl just passed him. It was a little hard to tell with the light level and some of the editing, but the white-robed beast appeared in front of the car, and when the car ran off the road, Takuya had to swerve hard, which took him off the road and face first into a telephone pole. At least he was wearing his helmet, so he's just dazed. How he didn't break his nose, I shall never know.
頭を打ったスパイダーマンは一瞬遅れを取った。鉄十字団は闇の中に消えていった。
He knows it's the Iron Cross Army, and thanks to that bonk on the helmet, he's still seeing two of everything, so to speak. He's too dazed to get up and follow. We watch the vehicles enter a gated yard of some kind. While the putties take the adults inside to be milked, our white-robed beast has taken an interest in the child. I have to say, this child actor is a lot better at pretending to be blind than she is at pretending to cry. Nevertheless, our creature makes a rash decision to save her. He drives her to the parking lot of a police station and deposits her there. I hope I don't have to mention that that's going to get him in a lot of trouble with his bosses, but that'll come later. Right now, Interpol just told Takuya about the girl, so he's off to meet with her. He's found her at an eye surgery hospital where we get the story. Her mother was dead. She and her father were on their way to visit her grave when a truck hit them. She lost her sight in the accident, and shortly after that her father just disappeared. He said he was going far away to make enough money for an operation to restore her sight and never came back. He sends money occasionally, but nobody knows where he is or what he's doing. Still, the money is enough to cover her surgery, so at least there's that. But she was nervous about the upcoming operation, so a nurse and her fiancé took the girl out for a drive to help calm her nerves. So much for that. Hitomi is watching the news about this latest murdered couple.
なんだ、拓也さん脅かさないでよ。え？私に調べてもらいたいことがあるの？何？はい、これ。
お、よくわかったな。
こんな調査なんか一発よ。
She is an educated reporter, so she has all these esoteric connections where she can find out stuff. Like, to track down the girl and her father, she went to the police station and said, "What can you tell me about these people?" Takuya doesn't have the training to do that. Unfortunately, none of the information she found is getting them any closer to finding her father.
ね、この二人どうかしたの？
あ、どうもありがとう。
Oh, that was a major Richard move, Takuya. She does the legwork for you, and when she asks what the story is, you say thanks and walk away. Maybe she should start thinking about getting a new boyfriend. We finally learn that the child's name is Jun. Takuya is taking her on a little outing so he can ask her about the accident.
純ちゃん、君たちは昨夜ここで交通事故を起こし、どこかに連れて行かれたね。どうして君だけが助かったんだろうね。連れて行かれた場所がわかるかな？わかるんだね。
私が目が見えないのにどうしてかって言うんでしょう、兄さん。私ね、目が見える人より音がはっきり聞こえるのよ。
So many people don't realize that. They figure, oh, she's blind. She won't have any idea where we took her. But sight isn't the only exterior sense that we possess. The whole time they were driving, she was listening. True to her word, she'll lead Takuya straight to that gated yard I mentioned. Needless to say, he's Spiderman now. I guess it's okay to change in her presence since I don't think she knows his name anyway.
ここで待ってるんだ。
お兄さん、どこに行くの？私も行く。
ここから出ちゃダメだぞ。
Having her hide behind a 55-gallon drum should work. They're about the same size. But I want him to explain why he didn't just have her stay in the car.
ゆうべ女の子だけをなぜ逃がした？なんとか言ったらどうだ？スパイダーマンにこの隠れ家を知られたらどうする？強情なやつ
This is the only way she knows to get answers: violence. But she's not getting any closer to finding out why he rescued the girl, because all that whip is doing is making him cower, unable to speak. Skeleton Beast has figured it out.
お前には女の子がいたが、お前が助けたのは自分の子供だろう。
That's right, he rescued her because he is her father. He sold himself to the Iron Cross Army for enough money to get June her surgery. That's one of the most selfless acts I've ever heard of. And also one of the stupidest acts I've ever heard of. How does he propose to get back to her and parent her after the surgery? The Iron Cross Army doesn't exactly do the 2 weeks notice thing.
この裏切り者
待て！アマゾネス。私は見ての通り、人間の生き血を吸い元気になった。
The professor says, I'll live another 400 years thanks to him, so give credit where it's due. Spider-Man has been listening to all this.
おめでとうございます。モンスター教授。
おのれモンスター教授。とうとうお前の正体を見たぞ。
スパイダーマンめ。
モンスター教授、早く司令部へお戻りください。白衣怪人、早くスパイダーマンを倒せ！
Outside, June is as good at following directions as anybody else in any of these shows, so she's making her way along the side of a building trying to find out what's going on. Not far away, Spider-Man and her altered father are confronting each other. But this time, Spider-Man has a secret weapon.
見ろ！
Yep, a photograph can be the most powerful weapon there is, especially when it's a reminder of how it was with his daughter before he became this.
どう？ほら。ほら、ジュン気をつけな。
お父ちゃん。
あ。
It's working. Now, in an American show, his head would slowly change back to human and all that. Not today. He's been surgically altered to look like this. But Spider-Man is reminding him of his real name, his daughter's name, and the fact that it's not too late to renounce all this and return to her, even with that god-awful noggin. He's seriously wavering. He just needs one more little nudge.
お父ちゃん。
And there it is. She heard Spider-Man say this man is her father, and seeing her determination, he'll break down and go to her.
お父ちゃん。お父ちゃん。お父ちゃん。お父ちゃん。
ジュン。
お父ちゃん。
Or not. The Amazoness says, kill Spider-Man or I kill the girl. If I was in that situation, I'd be telling Spider-Man, sorry, you get the wrong end of that deal. Dad seems to agree because he produces a knife and squares off with Spider-Man. He should have practiced more. He only hit her in the shoulder. But it was enough so Spider-Man got June away. That's the important part.
この白衣怪人。
白衣怪人。
Yep, the skeleton beast just killed him. Remember the episode title about a dark fate and all that. Spider-Man is rather angry now. As we used to say in Batman, it's fight time.
よくも哀れな子供の親を殺したな。情け無用の男、スパイダーマン。
I've found that I can usually tell if it's going to be lyric or instrumental by how loud that marimba comes through at the beginning. I included that because I want us to notice that we didn't do the freeze frame thing when he jumped onto the wall. He jumped and immediately started climbing. So we've turned that effect up a notch, and I like it. The freeze frame effect is good, and it works. This is better.
Spider String!
I think we were all wondering when he was going to do that. Time to call Marveler and take this murderer out of circulation.
Marveler! Cannon! Hasha!
You may have noticed that everybody in this show is a lousy shot with their artillery and such. Marveler's cannon shots never actually hit the enemy, they explode on the ground all around him. Spidey's been meaning to adjust those sights for months, but hasn't gotten around to it yet. Behold the results of procrastination. Changey Leopardon. Fortunately, Skeleton Beast can't throw any more accurately than Marveler can shoot. Hey, it's back! For a couple of weeks, we replaced it with Leopardon strings. Maybe it was out being polished.
Leopardon! Sword Picker!
So much for avenging June's father. And now? And now.
お父ちゃんは？私のお父ちゃんはどこ？
よく聞くんだ、純ちゃん。お父さんはね、遠くに旅に出たんだよ。
どこへ？
純ちゃんの目が見えるようになったら、お父さんはきっと帰ってくるよ。
本当？
ああ。さ、病院の院長先生が待っている。早く手術を受け、目が見えるようになろうね。
The narrator will say he hated to lie to her, but he couldn't tell her the truth. Why not? Tell her that her father died a hero saving her life. That's as much as she needs to know, and it's the truth. What happens when she wakes up able to see again and her dad isn't there? What happens when she realizes Spider-Man lied to her about that? The episode was doing great, and then that just deflates it down to nothing. I really don't understand. I get that he can't tell her what her dad became and why, but telling her that he's still alive is just cruel. We had all the upgraded effects and all, and the only thing we'll remember is how he lied to a small child. That's not the kind of thing that makes people want to tune in again next week.
Yami深く響く地獄の足